4, 3, 2, 1, go. Hey guys, Ranchineer bringing you all another circle of commentary, a proper source fit this time to bring in the third set between Flash and ForGG on Polaris Rhapsody. We have Flash the upper left position playing blue. We have ForGG the bottom right position playing white. And now we might actually have a actual TVT. Might still have some cheese fests, but I think ForGG has to try to play a standard game. But I really think whatever he goes for, he's going to be in trouble. Tried to go for Proxy Factory. That got spotted before he really managed to do anything at all. And just trying to play funky, and that just, yeah, didn't really give him anything. Unfortunately. What are you going to do? So now, yeah, he's in trouble. 2-0 under Flash. Never want to be under Flash. Well, actually, effort proved that it's sometimes okay to be 2-0 under Flash by beating Flash in the OSL finals. It was so insane. Flash going 2-0, and I was like, well, that's it. The rest of those videos of nukes are anti-spoilers, and then like, well, okay, maybe the last video is anti-spoiler. And I was like, 2-2. Okay, maybe Flash will still win this, right? And then, no. After it goes 3-2, and BAM! Does the GG play comeback. Really awesome. But TVT-wise, Flash, distinct advantage. Even if ForGG manages to get a game, I really don't see Flash losing. In a TVT, of course, no racial imbalance, and even map-wise, the map balance overall seems to not be very bad for Terran at all. It's kind of questions who you're playing, but you know there are no Protoss left in this tournament. So really, Flash's possible weaknesses are gone. But mind you, he lost to a Zerg last OSL season, but still gonna have some rivals. Still has Jaedong in the tournament. I think, yeah, Fantasy's in the tournament. There's these guys out there that can't beat him in TVTs or TVZs. So he's definitely not without rival, but he's definitely wants to go out there to win his second MSL gold. Let me see what we're going to manage to do. ForGG is going to go for 14cc at his natural. Let's just hope for his sake he's not leaving himself too vulnerable. Flash going to spot that just the second that happens. ForGG going to be forced to get an SCV off the line to blockade and defend his own SCV. That's, yeah, already has to stop building just to fight back. ForGG actually brings out 2 SCVs. I think one of this is for maybe building a barracks more than anything else. But yeah, just goes in there, tries to fight back. Oh, Flash so annoying. This is going to build a barracks here and has one SCV that just help fight back. Flash meanwhile going to get that SCV scout inside of ForGG's base. Meanwhile, back home has his barracks coming out, has a refinery up. Actually, gonna just react to this by putting in a quick expo. Did plan to go for a 1-fac on an expo, it seems, but just gonna see what ForGG goes for. And hey, you know what? I'm just gonna try to follow him. His command center is gonna be a little bit later, but still economically, he is gonna be able to compete. On the opposite side, ForGG just now has his refinery on the way. And Flash is getting a full nice scout on this. Knows that if he wants to, he can push into that base. Both players going for their natural expos. And just hope that they don't leave themselves too open. Really interesting to see just the maps with Twilight. We had Triathlon as well, which brings a lot of interest to this map pool as well. And I really like Polaris Rhapsody, even though it is significantly imbalanced. Because it makes Zerg really fight for it, like really. In a final, if it's a TVZ in a final, a Zerg is going to thumb down Polaris Rhapsody without question. Unless they're suicidal, they have to thumb down Polaris Rhapsody and almost take it as a loss on Polaris Rhapsody. But yeah, that's an analysis, TVZ analysis for another day. TVT-wise, we could see some very interesting things fighting down the Rap across the bridges, the kind of important spots to take with your tanks, kind of hold the upper side of the map. Generally against Zerg and Protoss, Terran players try to kind of take the box, take the main, the natural, and let's say in Flash's case, take the upper left-hand main and natural, of course, where you spawn, then transition to the 9 o'clock main and natural, usually main only, and then to the main at that position. That's kind of well to block off. You can really defend it well with some tanks, some siege tanks. Bunker at the Formula 1 up there for ForGG, just going to be extra defensive here, just to make sure he can fight any aggression off from Flash. Knows that Flash, hey, he went for something different than I did. So, hey, our Starport going to come up. Not quite sure whether I saw an armory being put down from Flash, but we're going to see whether he tries to go for some quick aerial build. Do we see an armory on the opposite side for his opponent? So we're going to see whether ForGG actually tries to go for Goliaths right away. kind of, with dropship tech, Starport, 2 Starports on the opposite side from Flash. So it might be, we're going to see whether there's going to be quick drop tech or just quick Wraiths, which I assume is actually going to be the case. Try to go for Wraiths on the opposite side. That Armory, if it is indeed for Goliath, is going to come significantly in handy. Academy is going up there, so he's going for an anti-Wraith counter here. Try to make sure the Flash can't do too much with it. Also has a little block here at the front with a supply depot and bunker. But yeah, otherwise, usually we see against Zerg Terran, they go for that little box. But in a TVT, we might actually see more of an evolution towards just taking the entire north side of the map, kind of transition from your natural to the, in Flash's case, 12 o'clock position, mineral only, and then transition towards the double gas at the upper right hand, which with some ground forces can be well defended because there are 2 ways into that base. One off a high ground and one off a small choke. But both can be defended well, especially if you have some maneuverability going on. We're going to see what Flash manages meanwhile to do with these Wraiths. Is going to go for whether he adds in a control tower, tries to go for cloaking, or maybe just try to control the skies. Has initial Wraith popping out. Still don't see the control there. Don't know if it's... Yeah, there is a control there on the other Starport. So he's going to be working on cloaks and just going to go out there with a Wraith. Also going to act as a spotter. Also going to help in case his opponent goes for early drop ships. And just kind of have a spot and control of the air of the entire map. Gives them an idea of what's going to happen. Barracks Moon just going to float in here for ForGG. Flash going to start attacking it right away. Has 2 raids, so they're going to be able to take out that bunker, that barracks, I'm sorry. But ForGG going to try to get a full scout while he can. Actually going to land that down. And, yeah, raised it right back up again. Never mind. No way he was going to try to go for something funky. But, yeah, with several raids in there, Marines and everything shoot at, he's going to try to go for something. Adding in 2 additional factories back home. Has 2 with machine shops. Adding in 2 additional. So he's going very heavy on the tanks. Has to have some Goliaths in there because tanks left out in the open with no support, anti-air support, eventually do get taken out by raids. And you really don't want to just have an SCV next to them just repairing them all the time because that's resources you're wasting on repairing when you could just have a couple of Goliaths out there taking those things out. So back home already, ForGG does have a couple of Goliaths, working on his upgrades, rebuilding his barracks, of course, but smartly enough did go for those 2 additional factories because he knew his barracks was going to go down just to have those. There may have been a little bit sooner than he would have wanted to take them both down, but you want to go for a little bit sooner rather than go for a significant delay. Wraith's going to go in there, have cloaking in, 3 Wraiths here for Flash to cloak. No turrets up there for ForGG, but didn't have an EBA, doesn't want to waste that, just going to have to go for comm sets instead, but I really don't think this Wraith is going to be penetrating and do too much damage right now for Flash. Just ForGG has to get a comm set in there. There you go, tanks out in the open. Here's where you need a comm set. I'm not quite sure he has Terran boosters on those, but because I think he's upgrading them as we speak from the machine shop. Don't think he had Terran boosters, else he would have probably managed to get a shot off on those Wraiths from that position that he was in. But going significantly heavy on the Goliath, so I'm going to see where Flash actually takes advantage of this 5th factory on the way. I'm going to see where the Flash actually takes advantage of this. Controls this guy, tries to kind of keep ForGG inside of his own base and then just takes up into a large ground army because he has some of his own siege tanks going to go out there, taking the high ground close to the upper right hand. Does seem like he's actually going to go with an SCV towards that upper hand, just going to pick up the double gas there. We're going to see what that is indeed what he's going to go for. Has a 3rd starport out there already. So we're going to try to take an economic lead alongside that. We're going to see whether ForGG, because he went more for a ground force, trying to expand that far is going to be significantly risky. So we're going to see whether he tries to go for the 6 o'clock position. I think that's actually the safest thing for him to go for. Just stay with ground forces so far. Going for dropships at this point, a little bit too risky with all those Wraiths out there. Could get them easily taken down. So both players just working on these 2 bases. Two starports are going to come up here for ForGG. We're going to see what these are going to be for Wraiths as well. Whether he's just going to be... I assume it's going to be for Wraiths. If you're going to work on dropships, usually just go for 1 starport at a time. Not working on any upgrades or anything like that. Just has some ground forces out there. Also has a few vultures. Probably with mines, just to plant them down. Have a spot. Also helps you to notice where the Wraiths are flying around. If you have them at the right spot. I'm not quite sure they actually have mines. Do think they do. They have speed as well. Is going to go for Wraiths actually to counteract Flashes, to kind of help him control the air, try to get some control of the airways. But Flash, I think this entire game, he's going to continue producing Wraiths. Has them a decent number of them already. I think 8 or so Wraiths out there just flying around, trying to go in there, do a little bit of chaos. Gonna fly instead of ForGG's base, avoiding the Goliaths. Spot the tanks, gonna get a couple of shots off on those. Comp's gonna come up though, and those Terran boosters just shooting away at those Wraiths. Barracks gonna be out in the open. That's gonna get taken down. So ForGG gonna lose a Barracks that had that floating in a position where he might spot the race at least a second in time, kind of give him a little bit of time to react. Has those races up there to support his own Goliath. For Flash, meanwhile, is gonna pick up the upper hand position, so he's gonna work on that double gas. ForGG has an SCV actually at the lower left, and apparently to do exactly the same. So actually kind of following Flash's lead. Not quite sure whether they might have scanned the position. I'm not quite sure how many scans he's using because he needs those against those Wraiths. Is moving out with a significant tank force alongside Goliath. Meanwhile, Flash has put up a somewhat defensive perimeter at the upper right hand. It has a lot of siege tanks out there. Those Wraiths are also going to be a big help if you manage to get them into play. Of course, also helping you making comsats not as necessary to adjust for range for your tanks. Gonna have a bunch of Wraith production coming in for ForGG at his own pace. Not gonna work on comsat, cloak. I'm sorry. Just gonna stick with just Wraiths to help out. Just gonna hope his own comsats come into play and help against those. But yeah, so far pretty slow game. Not too much happening. Flash tried to do a little bit of penetration with his Wraiths, but not really managed to do much of anything. ForGG just playing defensively, finally moving out a little bit with some of his forces towards the left side of the map. Has a decent amount of tanks, few vultures at the front. Goliath as well has kind of a spot on some of the positions. Going to scan the tank positioning of Flash, and seems like he's going to pull back. Doesn't really. It's a rather small choke to try to push through. Rather small position to try to push through that mineral only at the 9 o'clock. So not really the best of positions. Mind you, the bridge through the middle, not really a very good position either. It's just a shooting gallery at that point. But Flash also has those Wraiths spawning around. His mind's helping ForGG know where those Wraiths are at any time. Has his own Wraiths falling into play. If he can utilize those well together with his Goliaths, he could actually accomplish something. Gonna go for the base at the 3 o'clock position. Gonna go for the main there. Flash's double gas is gonna come into play soon enough though. Once he starts getting those down, so he's going to start continue massive production of tanks and such. We're going to see ForGG's race actually going to go into play here. Going to move in with the tanks. So we're going to pick off some of these tanks here at the front. Comp station going to go off. Are those Goliaths going to come into play fast enough? Barracks is going to float out. SCV going to come off the line to try to fight back ForGG here. Unfortunately, as you see, it's a small bridge. He has to just siege everything up, and he can't really move forward here. He's done some job of weighing down those tanks at the front, but even turrets are going to come up. Flash also fighting back. ForGG's Wraiths has way too large a number, but lose a lot of his Wraiths through those Goliaths. And still more Wraiths being produced for ForGG at this point. And actually, never mind, the 3 o'clock position. I thought it was ForGG taking it down. Got a little confused. Actually, Flash transitioning towards the 3 o'clock position while ForGG picking up the lower left hand for himself. So Flash significantly economic ahead. Should be able to produce a lot more forces. Continuing Wraith production off 3 starports. And continue to have a rather large tank army. A lot of it situated on the right side. And it seems like ForGG is trying to transition towards that right now. A lot of tanks, a lot of Wraith turrets also coming up. And we're going to see whether ForGG actually managed to do anything here. Trying to move forward with his vultures. Attack, not really putting down any mines. Isn't going to be able to do anything, but his Flash has a huge line of tanks here. These Goliaths just being shot at like crazy. Sea-Shank's going to come up. These Wraiths also helping, and the Wraiths, so ForGG not really doing much of anything. ForGG only has 5 tanks in there. He's going to lose them all. A lot of trouble. His own Wraiths not helping. No scans going to come off the line. Losing every last one of his Wraiths. Letting out breaths that he didn't know he had, and just slowly going to lose his tanks. Trying to come with some reinforcement. They're not going to help. Just a couple of Goliaths. The cloak goes down on those Wraiths, but still they're picking off all those tanks. That's a significant amount of damage. Flash's Wraiths really helping him here. First he defended his natural, the entrance to his natural position. Now he's defending the entrance towards the upper right hand. Just adding in another refinery towards the 3 o'clock position. He has a lot of gas production. Should be having a lot of factories coming up, just producing a mass amount of forces at all times. And his tank production and Wraith production is just going to stay heavy throughout this entire game. Also working on upgrades. So the advantage the Flash at this point is significant. ForGG just now getting the double gas to the lower left hand. Also expanding towards the 9 o'clock main. But Flash 2 steps ahead of him at all times. Yet again, ForGG going to try to come in close with his Goliaths. But yeah, GG's the second he spots. This is no chance. ForGG not happy with himself. Getting 3-0'd in the quarterfinals, and Flash just showing his superiority here. So not really much else can be said there. Other than that, much else to say. Flash going on to the semis. Not that we didn't expect it. Sorry ForGG. GG guys, Ryan out. That's listening. Hope you enjoy.